Hey guys, Colin here, back for a fun BITREP. This is going to be the start of us doing kind of a little bit of a series that I'm going to do for you guys. At the start of 9.5, my Eldar list just stopped working. The Ulthway list with the double fire prism, not a thing anymore. I tried some hail and I got completely run over by Blood Angels and also Emperor's Children. Completely run over. The problem is with hail, a lot of your shooting is AP2 into Terminators. That the Thousand Suns Terminators into the Emperor's Children Terminators, it just doesn't do anything. It gives them a 2-up. Doesn't work if they're standing in cover. Not being able to have ignore cover and hail together to me is a deal breaker. So I'm doing the thing that I do, and I'm trying different Eldar lists. And what I've settled in on is that I really like ignore cover with Children of Prophecy. Children of Prophecy lets you reroll all your 1s and 2s to cast. In Eldar, you could take a lot of really inexpensive Psychers. You're going to see in this list that I have 3 Farseers and 3 Warlocks. So you'll see that I have got a lot of psychic powers. That's because in addition to how good my psychic powers are, I also can smite people. And I can smite them like crazy. And I can Executioner, and I can Crushing Orb, and I can wreck people with incredibly reliable casting. Put that with ignore cover, and you take reasonably good AP weapons, and you try it out. Now, this is my first time trying this list. And in this version of the list, I have double Shining Spear, double Banshee, 1 big unit of Warp Spiders, 1 deep strike unit of Warp Spiders, 1 unit of Hawks, and then some Corsairs and Rangers to kind of fill out the table. Now, this doesn't end up being the way that I like this list. I've played it a bunch more since this game. I was sick, so I couldn't record. But I've played a bunch since then, and this list has changed a lot. So one of the things that will be fun as we go through here is I'll talk about the parts that didn't work and what I thought about them, and I'll kind of take you guys on this journey over the next several games. So with that, we're off. So I'm playing my good buddy Zach, and he's playing Thousand Suns. His list is below, and so is mine. Zach is phenomenal. He has played so much Thousand Suns. Lately, the addition of being able to add 3 Helverns to the Thousand Suns is a really big deal, obviously. So you'll see them up here. 1, 2, 3. In addition to that, Zach is running 20 Terminators, which is his favorite thing to do with Thousand Suns. That's really much better now than it was before 9.5. This is a unit of Rubrics. These are a bunch of stupid casters because of Thousand Suns. Unlike all of my elf casters who are great, right? These are the stupid casters. My guys are fine. Here we have another unit of Rubrics, and then back here is 10 Cultists, and that's basically Zach's list. Nothing's in Deep Strike. We're playing the 5 objectives where I'm in the corner and he's in the corner. You'll see that I'm doing my turn right now, but while that's happening, I'm going to tell you guys what all I have. This is my big unit of Warp Spiders. It advanced up from behind this wall. What we're doing here, Zach and I are working together to make sure the Helverns can't see it. And you'll see, you know what, let me finish telling you what I have on the table, then we'll go through that. Warp Spiders here. This is a unit of 5 Rangers right here. They started right here to make sure that that I was screening for the deep strike for the teleportation of the Terminators if he went first. They were positioned so that he couldn't see Shining Spears. So there's 5 Rangers there. There's also 5 Rangers down here. Then over here, we've got Banshees, Fire Dragons, and some Casters. Up here, we've got Banshees and a little unit of Corsairs being played by some Bone White Guardians. Down here's a unit of Shining Spears with the Mortal Wounds on 5s guy. Up here is the 2s to hit Shining Spear unit up here in front, sorry. And then this back circle is my Swooping Hawks. I have a smaller unit of Warp Spiders, and the Dire Avengers are both in Deep Strike. All right. So I'm going first. And what I want to do is I want to stop him from shooting me. Zach's list is incredibly deadly, and I don't want to get hammered on by it. It's not going to go well if I do. When you play Eldar, you have to invoke what I call the hide like a scared child method of playing Eldar, in my opinion. You can go ham at people, and that will often work. But against a good opponent like Zach, not a thing. So my fate dice for the turn are 6, 6, 5, 4. That's armor safe, hit, and wound. I've got the unit of spears from back here. Excuse me, let me clear all those circles off for you guys. There you are. These spears came up to here. This unit came to here just to deep strike block. You can see that the unit of Banshees has positioned itself up here to get ready to attack whatever comes out to get these guys. these Rangers. These Rangers move forward because what they're doing is they're stopping the Helverin from being able to move because of not being able to be with 1 inch, to be able to move to a point where the Helverin can see the warp spiders like this. That's what that angle is set up to do. Zach and I both eyeballed it. We're friends. We didn't worry about it. It might be a little bit off, but it's not a big deal. These Rangers down here are just doing R&D. You can see I've taken R&D, Engage, and Wrath of Cain. This is very much secondaries of me trying to understand Eldar now. My thought with Engage is that I'm going to have to run over to his side of the board in order to have a chance to win. R&D is relatively straightforward. I put the Dire Avengers in Deep Strike, and that means that 3/4 are at least super handled. With the Hawks, it seems like I can get a 4th quarter. That was the idea there. And then Wrath of Cain, the whole list is Aspect Warriors. I don't have any I have no meaningful shooting or damage that isn't an Aspect Warrior. So I've used that secondary a few times. I find it really hard. Other people are saying it's really easy. I don't really understand what's going on there, but so be it. So what I'm doing is I'm moving forward. I'm screening the Helverins. I just quickened the Corsairs up here on the right, to the right. I quickened them in the psychic phase to make sure I was blocking the deep strike from the Terminators completely. Because if the Terminators teleport over there and shoot all the Shining Spears off, I don't want that. This is me casting my rollable psychic phase. I'm putting everything on these warp spiders. I just put Empower on them to give them +1 to wound in combat. That's in case he somehow makes a charge to them with warp time. I've given them Protect. I've given them Fortune. And I've given Guide to the Hawks that are standing out here in the middle of the field. The reason the Hawks are standing there is because I wanted to just do random shooting downfield and then put them exactly where I need for screening the Terminators because of the way their battle focus works. I'm not expecting to do any damage to the Terminator. Zach's point is, if I kill the Terminator by rolling really well with the Hawks, which is what's happening now, then what's going to happen is he's going to teleport them and then bring that Terminator back, or walk them forward and then bring that Terminator back. And either way, he's going to shorten the charge range by a couple inches. He's right, but also I needed to shoot the Hawks to reposition them. So it is what it is. And I believe I do 1 damage, so it's not like I even kill a Terminator. Yeah, so I see 1, 1, 2 ones. So, oh, it looks like I did kill a Terminator. All right, then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and he must have been putting a die out. He did. He's got a Terminator with 1 wound left there on the far back of that unit. It's right there. We'll have to get wound dice that are easier to see. Okay. All right, so the Hawks are coming back. Oh, this is me repositioning the Banshees for some reason. I'm not sure what that is. The Hawks came back here. I don't know why what I was doing there. Maybe I knocked. Oh, did I knock the train over? That sounds like me. Down here is where the Hawks are. And he can't see them with the Helverins from far away, and they're blocking all of this from being deep struck on by the Terminators. Okay. I believe that's my entire first turn. I did not get Engage. I did get R&D in 1 corner. I obviously didn't get Avatar of Cain, and it's off to Zach's turn. We'll just skip forward a little bit so Zach can start moving his bottles. Zach likes to talk while we're playing 40K, which I thoroughly enjoy, but it does mean that the battle report can take a little while. All right, here we go. So he's moving this Helverin over here. We're talking about whether or not I could see these warp spiders. I think I shuffled one of them just because in the spirit of what we were talking about, I moved one guy from here to here just as a little friendly thing because Zach's like, oh, I can kind of see that guy, but I know you didn't intend that. Fine. So he's got 2 Helverins up here at the top. This is important. Here's a Helverin, here's a Helverin, here's some rubrics. They're going to be able to hose off this and this. When I say hose off, I mean that. Remember, Eldar? Sometimes we're durable, not always. Zach's moving one of his big Terminator units down here to this objective. He's going to try to charge these Rangers. I don't love that because I don't want to give the Terminators extra movement, but the Rangers got me an R&D in that difficult to get corner. The idea being that the Dire Avengers can drop in behind him and get that corner, and that way I can get the whole table for R&D. That's the idea. I normally take a psychic action when I play any Eldar list, psychic action secondary. Like I really like Warp Ritual, which I always forget and call Dark Ritual, and I really like Psychic Interrogation as well. I'm doing neither of those in this game because he's playing Thousand Suns, which means he has a 3d6 deny. Not a 3d6 drop low, it's just a 3d6 deny. That's gross. In retrospect, that takes CP, and I actually wish I had taken Warp Ritual and cast it all 5 turns so that Zach was tempted to try to use the deny strat 3 times in a game where there's not enough CP. I think that actually would have been smarter than taking Engage in this game because Zach is incredibly deadly at short range. I don't actually want to go hang out on his side of the table if I don't have to. Zach's doing some casting, some of his powers. He's teleporting the Terminators over here to the bottom right-hand corner. You can barely see them, but they're down there. Now, I think Zach's shooting phase will take all of a few seconds as I just pick up the things that he's going to shoot at. Oh, looks like we're still, there we go. All the Rangers got picked up as we knew they would. He's now shooting some shots into the Corsairs that were screening the deep strike. There's some Banshees behind them. All right, there they go. Oh, unfortunate things happening to the last few of them, and they're gone. And then Zach's million Terminator shots pick up the Rangers that were standing behind that objective. So I lose 2 units of Rangers and a unit of Corsairs on my first turn. That's how my Eldar list always play. I always lose to, the BS stuff trying to protect my good pieces. I'm updating the score here. And we will skip forward a little bit into my turn. I'm going to do Fate Dice again. Looks like I have a 6-6, a 5, and a 4 again, or maybe I haven't done it yet. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. He charged the Rangers. Oh, maybe he didn't. There we go. Okay. Into my turn. So Zach has 8 points. Now, one of the problems with this matchup for the list that I'm playing is that Zach has Wrath of Magnus, which is really stupid easy for Thousand Suns to get. That's the one where he has to cast more of different kinds of things than me. I have one thing I can cast more of than him, and I think it's Blessings. And so he doesn't get full points on it every turn like he would in another matchup, but he still does it quite well. Mutate the Landscape is the one that he has to cast on each objective. That's pretty easy for Zach. And he's also got banners. And right now he only has a banner on this upper right and on down here. So that's not too bad, but he did get 5 secondary on his first turn, and he killed 3 of my things. Kill points is the primary bonus. So that gets him an 8 to my 2 after the first turn. I'm not off to a great start. Beginning of the second turn, obviously, I score an 8. Now, my plan here is that I'm going to push out all of this to give myself room to operate, because if all of this if these Helverins come crashing into my army, I just lose everything. It's just way more shooting than I can take. Also, everything up here is really far from the Terminators is the idea. So I've got the Spiders here. I've got the Shining Spears here. I have a 2 ready on the charge for these Swooping Hawk or Shining Spears to make it in. I've got these Banshees that are up here ready to go into the rubrics. These Warp Spiders are here to help. This is one of several times that I've forgotten that Warp Spiders don't do anything to Helverins, because winning on 5s feels terrible. Hit on 3s, wound on 5s, 5-up save is just not a good way to try to kill a heavy target. But nonetheless, I'm positioning for that. Now down here, I have nothing I can really do other than stay away from these Terminators. I do have the big unit of Fire Dragons over here. I think this list has a 6 of Fire Dragons. And I'm trying to see if I can move them up, shoot 14 over at the Terminators, and then fire and fade into the train. And I can't very easily. So instead, I'm just advancing and then saying, no, I'm not going to advance. This doesn't make any sense. So I was trying to get the Fire Dragons up there so that Zach would have to miss position to get them, and it just wasn't going to work out. So I'm not going to try to do it. But that's what was going on. So this is the second unit of Shining Spears get positioning for next turn. I always move everything. I'm not a big fan of leaving things exactly where they are. I try to reposition things, at least getting them an inch or two closer to where I want them to be for the next turn, or give them more positions, more options, or give them more opportunities, more directions they can go. The problem is one of the advantages of that is that by moving all of your pieces, you're making your opponent, even if you don't drastically change the way you're set up, you're giving your opponent more data to process than if you just sit in your castle. So like little things like, I would rather the spears be here than here. How big of a deal is that for next turn? It ends up not mattering at all, but it mattered in my brain at the moment, so I did the positioning, and it's one more thing for Zach to consider. Now I'm seeing if the fire dragons can go out and shoot the terminators the other direction. They can't. I'm now screening what happens if he teleports with the fire dragons. I'm just trying to make sure that my pieces that actually have a shot of dealing with terminators are not killed. The terminators are incredibly difficult for my army to deal with, and I know that. But I've got to also have to kill all this other stuff too. So it's hard. Now here I sent the banshees. I think this is just a mistake. I sent this banshee unit, and if it charges these terminators, yes, it's on the objective, but it's not going to kill all the terminators and then it's going to die. But I can't, if I let him teleport to right here, he gets to kill my fire dragons because I can't screen him well enough. So I move these banshees up as a positioning piece, but I can't afford to lose the banshees because they're AP4 close combat damage. This particular unit, I think, is the mortal wound unit. And I don't know why I did that. It's not a good move, that's for sure. So yeah. Here's me casting psychic powers again. I gave Will of Asuryan to the banshees down here again because I think they're charging, but that's a terrible idea. I don't know what I'm thinking down there. And then up here I've got Doom going on one of the Helverins, and then I have Guide and Fortune on the Shining Spirits. Too many Aspect Warrior names. So there's Doom. It says Doom, and then that's Protect or Jinx rather, and we'll put Jinx on that one. So I've got Doom on the right one, Jinx on the left of them. I've got my big unit of 8. It looks like 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 spiders. I've got my unit of 5 spears, and then my unit, of course, of hawks here. Now, the hawks are not to the last anymore, and they aren't good in this matchup. So what I'm doing here is I've shot them at the rubrics, and now I'm teleporting them to the middle of the table to try to hold the middle objective. My reasoning here is that Zach is going to have to bring this stuff really fast this way, or bring these terminators over here. What I don't realize is he can just charge right here, and it's not too far. It's not a good positioning move. And then I decide, well, yeah, but I also don't care if the terminators pick up those hawks, because then the terminators are in the middle of the board and I can deal with them. Okay, sure. Let's see how that goes. So this is the spiders shooting into the Helverin. And you can see I do like 7 wounds and Zach saves 2 of them. 5 damage, not that exciting. As is always the way, my spears are out of range of their spears, so we're shooting Shuriken, trying to make sure that both of these Helverins die. I roll that was just more. I'm sorry, that was more the spiders shooting. The spiders rolled a really high ability to battle focus, so it was okay for them to jump the train there. Just for those that are wondering. Oh, this is Zach and I being like, oh, I didn't do this correctly. You could just teleport behind me and win the game. So we put this warlock back here as a sacrifice. I said, okay, I'm trying to learn this list. I'm just going to put this warlock back here and let you kill him, but you're not going to teleport behind me. And Zach's like, okay, that's fine. Because I was trying to learn a new list, and it's really hard to do that when you have to screen the entire board from the stupid Terminators. So the rubrics got picked up with Shuriken shooting there from the Banshees and the spears. Which is pretty darn good. A little bit, some piddle shooting, it looks like is happening. And then I charge both Helverins with the Banshees. They're not going to kill either of them by themselves. But what that allows them to do is touch them both and turn off Overwatch. And then I use the big charge to bring the spears into the left Helverin. Sadly, the dice for those Helverins is off the camera. I believe that the one on the left is still mostly full, and the one on the right got super worked. So my plan here is I'm going to kill the one on the left with the spears, and then the one on the right is going to get killed by the Banshees that are still alive. Is my plan. And then down here, I realize, oh, this charge isn't even a good idea, and so I don't make it, or I fail it and don't reroll it, or something like that. I think I fail it and don't reroll it. So I just have them battle focus after they shoot is what we decide to do there instead of charging. It doesn't help me. It wasn't. That was still a terrible play. This is Spears trying to kill a war dog, a Helverin. The Spears have been a little bit unimpressive for me. I've really struggled with them in the last few times I've played them, just not rolling average at all and just not wanting to kill anything. But they see like they're all right, 6 damage. I was like, okay. I think he spends the -1 damage strat. Oh yeah, and then I say, oh, I haven't seen that. Show me the -1 damage strat. Oh, okay, yeah, that sucks. All right, I don't kill it then. That's basically what happens. Stupid past Colin and his lack of knowledge. So Helverin on the left does not die. Super unfortunate. Now I try to kill the Helverin on the right with the Banshees. Luckily, it's doomed, so I get to do a little bit more. There, it's dead. And then I probably put a few attacks into the other one. It looks like I did not. So that's the end of the turn. I still didn't. I did score engage because of the sacrificial Banshee unit that's out here in the middle of the table. That's part of the reason why I didn't want to charge them in. So I got 2 points for engage. I R&D'd somewhere this turn. I don't honestly remember where. And then I still didn't get. I think I got a little bit of Wrath of Cain because I would have killed. I killed a unit in shooting with Aspect Warriors. And I also killed one in combat. So I actually got 4 points that turn for Cain. So that explains why I'm at a 9 now for my secondary. I must not have R&D'd that turn. So I've got 2 points on engage and 4 points and 3 points. I don't know. It's all right. So Zach uses Desperate Breakout to just walk through the spheres with his baby knight. I think is what happens there, which is not a thing that I remember that you could do. But I don't think he gets to fall back and shoot. I think it just gets him so that he can move his Terminators up and try to shoot me. So I killed some Rubrics and a Helverin that turn. The problem is that the power of Zach's list is 20 Terminators. And I was not thinking about how rough that was going to be for me to deal with. So Zach moves the Terminator unit up. He brings his casters down like this. And then he teleports. He gets ready to teleport that other unit of Terminators again so that they can get. So that his idea is if he teleports them into this open area I've left him right around here, that he can then shoot into this and maybe pick it both up, which would be pretty good for him. Because if he doesn't pick those things up, they're going to do a lot more damage to him. And the game that I'm playing is I'm trying to bait him out to deal with my things so that my other things can then deal with him, is what I'm trying to do. Zach is casting psychic powers. He is smiting off banshees. There's only 2 left now. And then he warp times the Terminators to get them nice and close to the Hawks. That's the move that originally I didn't see and understand, but then decided was okay because I want to pull the Terminators to the middle of the table so that the Fire Dragons and the Shining Spirits can crash down upon them and all my Psychic Power debuffs can go on them. We'll see how that goes for me. There's Zach moving his Terminators exactly as I predicted. It's almost like I have previous information. So he's now shooting into me with stuff. Shooting Eldar is weird, and you need to be prepared for that when you play against them, because in the list that I play in particular, almost everything is a 5-up invul, and 5-up invuls just go hot sometimes. I used to play a lot of Gene Stealers that were 5-up and then a 5-up Feel No Pain for Catalyst, and that 5-up would just sometimes go hot, and it would take a whole army to try to kill your Gene Stealers. That's what happens a little bit to Zach here. Zach is a mathematical genius, and he does the math in his head, but sometimes math doesn't work. So Zach ends up splitting his shooting between these 2 units and also doing some shooting here. The range gets him a little bit. Some of this Terminator unit is able to reach. This Helverin unit also shoots. I LFR on neither of them. I LFR neither of them because they are both -1 to be hit already. But in the end, I just roll well enough that I'm left with just the 1 Exarch for the Banshees. Now, that might sound ridiculous, but if you watch our BITREPs, that happens to me all the time. That 1 Banshee is left, and she's a little character. Now he's shooting a ton of stuff into the Shining Spears, but because they have a leader who's 4-up, 5-up because I fortuned them, and they're -1 to be hit, they just tank his shooting, which it just happens sometimes. It's not too weird, but it's also not enough, it turns out. But we'll see. See, there's me hard roll at a 5, just like whatever. So lots of rolling as the Terminators try to shoot off the Shining Spears, but as I promised you, I think it only kills 2 of them. Here, we'll skip forward a little bit, see if you guys see the time. All right, yeah, it actually only killed 1. And then what's happening here is the Terminators have charged and destroyed all of the Hawks. I roll morale. I say, oh, yeah, they still fail on a 2. And I think 1 runs away, and then I roll and the other one runs away, and the Hawks are gone, which is fine. I'm actually really unimpressed with the Hawks in this list, even though Ignore Cover makes them better. I just think that in the current game, you just need so much AP to have any chance against stuff like this. Like if that 200-point unit had AP, right, I would have much rather had it. That unit actually gets switched out for 3D cannons, so it becomes a completely different thing after this. So it's now the beginning of my turn. I am doing okay on points because Zach held back on the first turn. I'm doing all right. But the problem here now is I have to start dealing with these Terminators, and if I don't, the game ends. And that's really rough, a really rough position to be in. So you can see I'm down by 1 point. I have 1 more primary point than Zach, but Zach's doing better on secondaries. Zach's going to continue doing better on secondaries. His secondaries are easier to score than mine. So what I've done is I've advanced with a Fate die, the Fire Dragons like this. They're all touching this building. They can see a Helverin. They can see, I was going to call him Magnus, but that's not his name, Ahriman, and they can see a Sorcerer. So my thought is I'm going to sacrifice the Fire Dragon unit and let them kill those things. Hopefully I'll kill the Helverin and 1 character is my hope. Then 1 unit of Spears comes this way. Another unit of Spears comes this way. The Warp Spiders, I think, stay here to deal with this Helverin. And I move my casters down here to take a line on the Terminators like so of 18 inches. Yeah, he comes in close. Like, I'm going to bring all the Smite I can. I'm going to bring 5 Shining Spears in one unit, 4 in the other. I'm going to bring them in close combat and shooting. And I'm going to try to kill enough Terminators that unit isn't a problem anymore. What do you think is going to happen? And I don't have a choice here. Zach's doing better on the mission than I am. I can't stay back into the corners. I can't ignore the middle of the table. There's no option, right? There's nowhere. I have to answer the Terminators, which is exactly what Zach wants. And then he's got the second unit of Terminators set up for a counter charge. Like, it is just a completely bad spot for me. But I do get to kill some things. So let's see how that goes. So lots of psychic powers have to get cast. We're definitely talking about who can see, who the fire dragons can see. The answer is everyone. There's the windows on that wall. All right. Here come the buffs. So Jinx on the Terminators, which is great. He denies something. I think it might be Doom. I don't remember. That's Guide on the bigger Shining Spear unit. That's Fortune on the bigger Shining Spear unit. That's some Smite. I think I kill a Terminator there. Here's more Smite. My Farseer did Executioner and then got quickened away. If you're wondering where he went, he's up here now. I do a lot of casting powers and then quickening that person away. It's how I deal with psychic actions, and it's also really useful to doom things without the Farseer getting got. I also put +1 to wound on these Shining Spears, so you know they're really ready to go. And there is Will of Asuryan on those Shining Spears. I wish they got like a +1/+1 for every buff they have on them or something. Like, that'd be really cool. Like, oh look, they're buffed up 4 times, so this Shining Spear now has 7 attacks. That'd be great. But no, that's not how that works. All right, bunch of shooting. This is almost certainly Shuriken from Shining Spears into Terminators. Doom did not go off. He denied it on 3 die 6. So I'm just going to give him a ton of easy saves to make. And he's going to try to, have his Terminator survive me, is basically what's going on. More shooting. I don't know why I'm counting in 3s. I'm not sure what shooting this is, but so be it. Oh, fire dragons. That doesn't make any sense because I know I split fire with the fire dragons. I don't get it. I don't know what's happening right now. Whoa! I'm sorry. This is warp spiders into the Helvern. That's what's happening. Yep, there it goes. Boom! Warp spiders kill it. Good job, guys. 2 Helverns dead. Huzzah! And now more shooting. So I kill another Terminator there. He's at 8 now. One of them has 1 wound left. Here's more Shuriken into them. I do have all those Shining Spears there. But 1,000 Suns Terminators are really hard to kill. And I don't roll particularly well. So, there's that. There's another Terminator dead. Now he's down to 7. Actually, it still looks like 8 to me. I don't know how that happened. But he did heal 1 last turn, so that could be why. All right, there's another Terminator. Now he's definitely at 7. See, it's going great, right? All this shooting. So good. You'll also see that my one Howling Banshee, there's a live ran over here, and she's literally just going to charge in and kill this sorcerer just so he has less psychic ability to do secondaries. That's her job now. Then she dies. I love that. Sending that little advancing, charging, no Overwatch, 10 attack lady on a little adventure. All right. So there's that Banshee charging in to try to kill that character. I'll send in both units of spears now. One of which is going to get overwatched, but then I realize that he needs his 2 CP to interrupt, so he's not going to overwatch. This is me trying to figure out how do I charge in a way that stops him from getting both units of Shining Spears when he charges back, and I don't figure out one. Looking at it now with the 2-inch rule, which didn't exist when we played this game, the spears could have come through here and made a line. The top unit could have come through there and made a line like this while fighting, so that he has to go around or into them. And then the other unit could have charged right here, but I didn't see that at the time, which is not good. It was not good. Did not do well there. So there you can see I'm rolling just terribly. And the Fire Dragons down here picked up Ahriman and the Helverin, but left the other character. I didn't have a choice. I could only kill 2 things. I used Fate Dice and stuff to make it happen. Still a good use of that. I have that objective now. Like I killed Ahriman, I killed Helverin. Like it's a big deal. So, so all my spears are fighting, and Zach is now interrupting to try to kill the spear unit that hasn't gone yet. There's 4 1s for Zach. Zach's not rolling well. So I make some saves. I'm actually tanking the 4-ups on the leader here. And then I fight and I kill another Terminator, and there's still some left. And then he just makes all his involts, and this is like one guy. So he still has 3 or 4 Terminators left. Looks like 4, which is, enough. This is me saying, oh, well, I didn't kill anywhere near enough of this unit. And Zach's saying, yeah, you're right. Now we're having a conversation about how much we think Armor of Contempt is silly. And here I go again. Piling in, touching, on to Zach's turn. All right, let's jump forward a little bit. We're getting to the important part of this game. All right, so Zach's Terminators move up. His Sorcerer joins them, leaves me with this objective down here, which is mighty chivalrous of him. He moves down these dudes, these Brosifs right here. He's leaving my Banshee there. She'll get killed. Don't worry about that. So Zach is staying in combat with me with the Terminators in the middle of the board. He just smited off 2 of the Shining Spears from the top unit because he's playing Thousand Suns, don't forget. And the Sorcerer's standing right there, and he's the guy with all the mortal wounds. So now I basically have just the leader of that top unit, and then 3 of the bottom unit is all that's in there in the middle of the table. I'm trying to do stuff like deny him, but I just can't make it happen. So all of Zach's powers are going off here. Fast forward it a little bit for you guys here. So Zach's Terminators easily shoot off with buffs. The fire dragons down here, killing all of them. He kills off with a Smite the Banshee that was in his deployment zone. We removed the piece of terrain to make this part easier. He then charges into both the bigger Shining Spear unit with the new Terminator unit. There's now 13 Terminators, 14 because one healed, on the middle of the table, and I am about to lose all of my Shining Spears, which means I will have my characters and a unit of Warp Spiders, and that will be the entirety of what I have left in my army. So the problem is Zach's secondaries are better than mine, and he's also going to be able to hold more of the table than me because I literally can't kill those Terminators. I can't kill the Cultists. I can kill the Rubrics. Like the Warp Spiders could kill something, but the big unit of Warp Spiders is not actually good against Zach because, like those Rubrics, they still get a 3-up save again. Oh no, they get a 4-up save. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. So this is me trying desperately to save myself with saves, but I can't, and the spears all die. So with all of the spears dead, there's one spear left, and he's fighting to try to survive. And then he's dead. Okay, so all the spears are dead from the middle of the table. Now here's the problem. Zach is going to be up on points here. I can't really do engage. I can't really do R&D. I'm not getting points for Wrath of Cain anymore because I've killed enough of his army. I have Warp Spiders up here and characters, and I have characters down here. Now, watching this now, I should have played it out and seen how many points I could get. But what we decide instead is that I'm going to forfeit. And the reason I'm going to forfeit is that on my turn, I literally can do nothing to these Terminators in the middle of the table. There's nothing that I can do. I can put something on this objective in retrospect, like looking at it now, I could put something on that table. But, sorry, it jumped to the end there. I didn't mean it to. Okay. So I could put something on this objective pretty easily. The Warp Spiders can't reach long enough to get this really dealt with. They could put shots in the Terminators, but that won't get me anything. They are the teleportation spiders. So potentially they could teleport. I didn't have the Deep Strike spiders in this game, it looks like. I must have just had the Dire Avengers, which I didn't bring in. But let's say that the spiders come over here and deal with these rubrics. I could battle focus them down to this objective, and then Zach's got to come back with one of his Terminator units. But the problem is he can just shoot me. It's not going to be hard for him to deal with how close that is. And then the other unit can go to whichever objective I have the rest of my army on, and then I'm tabled. I just don't have the staying power still alive anymore to hang with the Thousand Suns, and that's okay. Looking at the game, Zach didn't make any mistakes, and I made several. The Banshee misposition, I didn't screen appropriately for the Deep Strike. I kept having to sacrifice things that I needed in order to stop the Deep Strike. I put Warp Spiders into kind of the wrong target. In general, I could have played a lot smoother, but the bigger takeaway is that I don't like the big unit of Warp Spiders because of how I don't like their 24-inch range if you want to be able to battle focus them in the new game. Like when everybody had to come to my deployment zone, great, because I do the last, but I don't have that anymore. So after this, I don't play with that big unit anymore. Additionally, I think the Hawks are a bad use of points because so many games are going to be deal with Terminators, Emperor's Children, Iron Warriors. I know that Blood Angels, Sanguinary Guard aren't Terminators, but it's the same damn problem. And then, of course, Thousand Suns. All of those are list checks that are really hard for Eldar. And so I pivot after this to a big unit of 10 Fire Dragons and some D cannons, and I go to less spears. And I don't have the Hawks, and I bring more trash as well, because a big takeaway here was that I needed more trash to play the mission and screen him while I was trying to not engage his Terminators. So that's what happened here. All in all, a good game. We didn't do the end score, but I would have gotten trucked pretty hard, probably a 30-point loss or so, because he would have tabled me on turn 3. So nearly tabled me on 3. The warp time's really fast. and I just don't have durability or the damage necessary to deal with all the Terminators. Now, that's what I decided at the time. Looking back, the Dire Avengers should come in right here and rod and blow away. Oh, the Dire Avengers had to come in to block for the characters. They're all right here. That's where the Dire Avengers are. Okay, so the Dire Avengers pull back to hold this objective. The Warp Spiders try to kill these rubrics. Maybe I can advance them over to this side of the train so that they're right about here, but not on the train. And then they shoot into this and they kill these guys, and then the cultists can't deal with them. The Terminators can't quite get to them. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I didn't see it at the time. So maybe I can hang with them a little bit more than I would in a tournament game, but this is a practice game with a list that, and in the end, I just really wanted to change quite a bit. So I'll be back to show you guys playing this Eldar list against Imperial Knights next. I want to thank you all for watching, and this is still a thing we're working on. So I'd really appreciate it if you'd let me know if there's something that I can do. If there's something that I can do differently or better, I'd really like to know about it. And we will talk to you all soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.